So, Donald Trump had Benjamin Netanyahu over to the White House yet again. The guy is a war criminal and he should be locked up in the fucking Hague. But meanwhile, we've got Donald Trump pulling his chair out for him like he's an elderly old lady that he's showing respect to. Either that or this is just a humiliation fetish. I don't know. Take your pick. But he is now saying that American boots on the ground in Gaza is a real possibility. I've said it before. America has basically just become the de facto military for Israel. You know, we've been bombing Yemen for, Jesus Christ, we've been bombing Yemen for 10 years. Lately, we've been bombing Yemen solely because they are doing a blockade on stuff coming through, Jesus, I can't even remember the body of water at this moment. But they're doing a blockade on all shipments going to Israel. And I mean, I'm sure you remember Signalgate. It just happened like a week ago. Of course, that's already out of the news. We've got a whole bunch of new crazy bullshit to deal with. But that whole thing was about them bombing Yemen. And they have been bombing Yemen ever since. They have not stopped. They're using all of our high-tech weaponry to go after some Yemenis people whose most of their military equipment and, whatever guns and whatever surface-to-air missiles or whatever shit that they have there, it's all buried underground anyway. So we, this big, huge superpower, just wasting copious amounts of cash, of our taxpayer dollars to fund this ridiculous military excursion that is absolutely not working. It's not even close to working. So he's talking about, with the boots on the ground, he's talking about how he referred at the beginning of his term, which was, it seems like years ago, but it was just, a couple of months ago. He said that we're going to take Gaza. It's going to be ours. We're going to own it, folks. It's going to be mine. It's going to be a big, old, beautiful piece of freedom land and real estate where we put hotels and the Trump casino on there, and me and Netanyahu will be down by the pool drinking mojitos. It's going to be fantastic. So, and he keeps referring to Gaza as this beautiful piece of real estate. Of course, it's a fucking real estate agent. When was the last time you met a real estate agent that was actually trustworthy? But here we are, president real estate agent, talking about the beautiful property, the beautiful beachfront property of the Gaza Strip. It's amazing. And he's also referring, when he said boots on the ground, he used a nice 1984 metaphor. He doesn't call them boots on the ground. He doesn't call us the, U.S. military. He says, well, we have a peace force there. A peace force jam-packed with guns and tanks and bombs, but peace. Yes, absolutely. Fucking peace, man. And Netanyahu is just sitting there, just smiling. Just smiling. He knows he's got Donald Trump wrapped around his little finger. Now, he had Joe Biden wrapped around his little finger too. Joe Biden is a stubborn old codger, himself, but Joe Biden is a Zionist, which, by the way, Zionism, real fucking bad. It's not, people have been equating Judaism with Zionism. It is absolutely not the same thing. Being a Jewish American does not mean that you have loyalty to Israel first. You're an American. If you're a Jewish person and you're an American, you are an American first. And so that right there is an anti-Semitic trope, just by saying that Jews inherently have, loyalty to Israel over our own United States. That is just factually untrue, and it is anti-Semitic. But, we've been in this conflict, well, we as America funding this conflict for 18 months now. Over 1,200 dead Israelis. I believe half of those were military and the half of those were civilians. Real bad shit. Horrible shit. Everybody condemned Hamas for what they did. But that war didn't start that day. And how long is it going to take for Israel to get their full revenge? Because that's what this is. It's revenge. Now, the official number of the dead Palestinians is somewhere around 50,000 people. That is so quaint. It's almost like a joke. We're probably past the 300,000 person mark at this point. Easy, easy. There was 2.3 million Gazans living in Gaza. Now there's probably maybe 1.7, 1.8 million, and they are steady bombing every day. I thought there was a ceasefire. Donald Trump got a ceasefire the first day. It was a cosmetic ceasefire. Israel has not stopped what they were doing. And by the way, when there was a ceasefire for those couple of days at the very beginning of Trump's term, the Yemenis people stopped the blockade because there was a ceasefire. That was their stipulation. You stop butchering and murdering Gazans, we'll stop a blockade. And as soon as Israel goes back to bombing, which they immediately did with our weapons, 2,000-pound bombs, you think I'm big enough? Donald Trump, the peace guy, the one that dropped the mother of all bombs. Yeah, man, he's a peace guy, man. He's all about that peace, But with 300,000+ dead Gazans, a lot of them women and children, I thought we cared about, women and children in this country. I guess we don't care about them there because they're just Muslims. They're just Gazans. What's the logic behind it? When is the revenge going to be done, guys? They killed 1,200 of your people. When is the revenge going to be done? And a lot of you are saying, well, as soon as they give up the hostages. The hostage deal has always been on the table. Israel just won't accept it. And when you have a leadership in Israel that is actively trying to starve the people, saying that they will not bring any more food or medicine in, which, by the way, they did that on the very first day. I believe it was Benny Gantz who said that we're going to starve them like the animals that they are. We're not letting any food, any water, or any medicine in. That right there is a war crime. The International Criminal Court has already called it a war crime, has already called it ethnic cleansing and genocide. It is what it is, folks. They bombed so many hospitals. I remember that first one that they bombed, and they said, "Oh, no, it was a Muslim, faction that shot a missile," and they don't even lie about it anymore. They used to do the dignity of lying about, "Oh, we didn't shoot that person." And now all they do is just bomb hospitals, and they shoot little kids. And American doctors go to Gaza, Doctors Without Borders and what have you, and they come back and they get on the news and they say, "Yeah, I saw double tap shots to the chest, or shots to the back of the head of little children." And after 18 months, I remember everybody was talking about, the atrocities of Gaza, what's going on in Gaza and the horrible things that Israel is doing to them. I remember watching for the first 6 months, everybody was just up in arms about this. Joe Biden wouldn't budge. And now that Donald Trump's in office, I don't really see a whole lot of people talking about it anymore. And it's getting ridiculously frustrating. It's getting more and more desperate for the Gazans. And it's also starting to look like, with all the trade wars and of course, all the threats of actual military war with Iran and Greenland and Ecuador. We got military down there, and the Panama Canal. We've already got plans drawn up for that. With all of that going on, what's going to take us down first? Is it going to be economic warfare? Is it going to actually be World War III? I don't know. I just don't know. But I know it ain't looking good, folks. Anyway. Jesus Christ, man. Donald Trump, he is absolutely worse than he was in his first term. I remember the first term, every once in a while you could say he did a couple of things that weren't ridiculously horrible. he banned bump stocks. And I was like, okay, well, I can give him that one, even though he did like a dozen things that day that were horrible, but at least I could give him one. I can't think of one thing that he's done in this first term that has been remotely good at all. I mean, can you?